Loud. Beautiful. I am. Okay, great. I always have to have that little reminder because I forget every time. And of course, this will be recorded. So if you have to drop, life happens. If you need to mute, leave, let the dog out, we get it. No worries. Later today, you'll get a link with the whole recording of our entire chat today. Um, I see many of you have already done it, so thank you for turning your cameras on. It's just really easy to see the oohs and ahs and see what's resonating, what's perplexing you, and get your answers questions just through facial expressions. And the last thing before we jump in today is please just be respectful of others in the Zoom chat. We have our own little micro community here today, and I want to preserve the sanctity of of uh, of what we're all about here at Heartbeat. All right, without further ado, I'm just going to double check our chats here. Yes, Anne, recording, we covered that. Colin, another Brooklynite, nice to meet you. And working on a few ventures that would benefit from community. One is for dog lovers. Aw, love it. All right, y'all, here we go. So I'm going to do a quick poll to start us off here, and this is going to help me understand how deep or how not so deep to go into what Heartbeat is. So you got two questions there. One is, how familiar are you with Heartbeat? You should see that pop on your screen. The second is, have you already started a community on Heartbeat? All right, we got some answers rolling in. Oh, wow, look at us. We got 80% of us are brand spanking new. Well, welcome. And about 50% of us haven't started our free trial yet on Heartbeat, which is totally fine. It is kind of helpful being able to just like sandbox it and have it up on the side as we're going through stuff. There's no risk. We don't take credit card, and we also save all of your content if you choose not to upgrade immediately after the 2 weeks. So you won't have to worry about that. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll and start, especially for y'all that are brand new, about who is Heartbeat? What are we all about? We are the all-in-one platform for your community businesses. And what that really means is we have your spaces for discussion and engaging with members. We have spaces for you to host in-person or online events, host your knowledge bases and documents and resources for your membership, create learning journeys through courses, whether they are cohort-based or evergreen. And of course, a layer on top of all of that is our payment suite, which allows you to monetize every bit of that content above, whether it be monetizing the entire access for your community or bite-sized pieces of it. And I think one more thing there. Of course, this was all born out of a problem, right? Any great company is born out of a problem, and that problem was recognized by our CEO when he was running the Georgia Tech Accelerator for entrepreneurs. He had all these connections of how to make this accelerator community work. It was hosted on Slack and had Zapier zaps going from, one platform to the next. And what happened was it would break one day and the entire waterfall of connections would also break. So one of the core things that Heartbeat is built on is taking as much of that in-house, especially when it comes to workflows. So we try to replace as much as possible when it comes to building workflows that will make your business run smoothly and allow you to focus on the content and the engaging pieces of it. Just really quickly jumping to our landing page, I want to show you like who Heartbeat is built for, and it's built for all of you, which I can assume are either small business owners or sole proprietors or very small teams of like one or a handful of of y'all looking to build an online community business. So while we are majority here to support you with over 5,000 of y'all already on the platform, we also support larger brands like ASIS, Sora Schools, which is an online middle and high school, very cute working with those kids. And then Bumble, StreamYard, and Bubble. All the Bumbles and the Bubbles. We got all the B name brands. So one of the core things about Heartbeat is the chat spaces where you can engage with your membership. And in Heartbeat, we have three different type of chat channels that you can engage with members in. You have your threads, which is like your Facebook style posts where you have a post and comments underneath it. You have your chat channels, which are like your group chats like iMessage or WhatsApp. And then you have your voice and video rooms where you can hop on live with people, chat with them, and see them face to face. So I'm going to go a little bit into detail about each of these channels. Feel free to throw questions in the chat as you have them. And sorry, I was just reading the chat. And yeah, and we'll jump through these. So to show you a bit about these channels, I'm going to drop us into the Hearth, which is our meta community. It's a community of 3,800 other community builders on Heartbeat. So when in doubt, this is a really solid resource of both getting access to best practices from other builders on Heartbeat, but also seeing what an alive and thriving community can look like on Heartbeat. So what I'm going to do is, if you're not already a member, completely free to join. Just going to send you all the invite here in our group. You don't have to have even an active demo community of your own to join this. So feel free to just join it and check it out. But what we'll see here is the first channel I see is a thread-based channel. So you'll notice that it's very similar to the Facebook style where you have a post. Those posts can have reactions. They can even have custom reactions that you've uploaded for your community. So we support you uploading your own. You can have GIFs as replies. We pull from the Giphy library, so that entire library is available for you. And you could also make replies to replies. So you can do nested replying and chat with people that way on a post. This is, I'd say, about 80% of chat channels in Heartbeat communities are typically thread ones. They're really, really good at siloing conversation, especially when you're having topic-based conversation and don't want to lose sight of something. So I'll jump to that right here. Really good for big spaces, and you don't want to lose sight of topic-based combos. Heartbeat support large communities, let's say 50K users. Hey, Amanda, yes, we can support that. And if you have any concerns, especially when it comes to like the rollout and onboarding, just reach out to our support team. We could even probably book some time with you to get you started. One thing I'll note is there are some built-in email invite limits in Heartbeat itself, just to prevent like spammers. So you might just have to reach out to us to get those limits extended for your use case. But yeah, we can support communities of that size. Okay, so the next channel type I want to show y'all is the chat channel, which is like your WhatsApp style or group chat style channel. So right here, what we're looking at is a chat channel. It's in my test community, so it's not like the prettiest conversation, just a bunch of test people saying hi to each other. But you'll see that you still have access to your reactions here. You can add your GIFs. You could add file attachments. And what's also really cool is you can tag content throughout the community as well. And this is available to all members as long as you have access to that content. Is if I type a $ right here, I'm able to tag, let's say, a course that's in the community, an event that's upcoming, a lesson within a course, or even documents in my community. So if, let's say, somebody asks a very common question, like what is the definition of snare drum in my drumming community, I can say, here's where you can find all the terms, and then tag them my dictionary document. They can click read and they're taken directly to that document. We try to integrate these pieces of Heartbeat as much as possible because at the very core of it, communities are huge databases of knowledge and resources, whether it's knowledge sharing from person to person or it's stored in a knowledge base, whether it's a course or a document. And we want to make it as accessible as possible. So beyond even that, we have a fully functioning search that searches the entire community for content that a member has access to. So let's say I am curious about drumming. I would type that search and I am able to search across the community, whether it's in a course, a lesson, a document, a former conversation that somebody had, a DM. It'll actually also search voice transcripts from voice memos that are sent back and forth. So we will automatically just transcribe any voice memos that are sent between you and somebody else, and we'll search that as well. Just makes searching that much easier. And I see a question in the chat. Let me see. Mentioned email limits. That's great for emails sent from the community. Are there metrics on who's opening those emails, click through, etc.? Leah, great question. We don't have like click through and open rates information just yet. So what we typically recommend is if you need like more detailed email analytics, for the time being, you can seamlessly like integrate your another like SaaS tool, like such as Mailchimp or Postmark or whatever other email servers you use. But we do basic like tracking of who you've sent it to, who is joined, like who is converted, and who is not converted. So we'll show you that much, but won't show much more details in terms of the emails. Great question. Okay, one last thing I wanted to show y'all is the feed. So the feed is a great way to just aggregate all the content that a member has access to in terms of like the conversations that are happening in a community. So when somebody's dropped into your community, and this is something that you can toggle off, but we recommend you keep on just because it's really useful, is they will just land on your feed and it will aggregate based on how active and trending the conversation is, anything that is relevant for them to see. So any new posts, actually, let me go to the hearth because it'll be a better real life example of the feed here. So as I'm scrolling through, I'm seeing content from various channels throughout the community that I have access to. If I'm mentioned in DMs, in messages, in a post, that will appear first. And then throughout this, I'll also see that where people are engaging. So I can see presence indicators, such as the 3 people that are reading this post right now. And I'll also see that David is typing a comment as we speak, and he will soon post that. So we try to make it feel as alive as possible so that you can see where people are at in the community. Colin asked, how does privileges for cohorts subgroups work? Colin, that's a great question. We're going to actually go over courses in detail, and I'll make sure I hit on that question in a bit. And then Aaron asks, does everyone see that or just admin? For presence indicators, everybody's going to see that in the community. That's sort of like part of the decisive nature of our product is we know the things that amp up engagement, so we make certain things just not customizable. So that is just like permanently on. And looks like David posted. Still seeing the old design. Well, all good there. We actually just revamped the entire UI of Heartbeat. So if you have started your trial and you're not seeing this gorgeous new layout, it's because in about 5 days time, we'll be rolling it out to everybody. But right now we're in like a beta test phase for it. All right, great questions so far, y'all. I'm gonna jump over to the next bit of info here, but are there any other questions before I do that? Let's see. Shrishti, great question. That's not currently possible as a direct feature in terms of integrating a chatbot into the platform. But I actually have seen guides in the Hearth from other admins that have like built this through means of like Zapier and other automations. So it's not impossible. It's just a bit of a technical lift, and you could probably work with some people in the Hearth to figure out how to do it. All right, y'all. On to the next thing here, which is documents. So I mentioned earlier that you can link to various things throughout the community using that $sign, and I linked to one of my documents. Documents are a great place to store your resources and knowledge base for your community. And I'm actually trying to see if I can come across a stray document here. If not, all good. We have our left nav bar here where I can click on resources, and I have all of my documents here. We organize documents by section. So each section here has numerous documents inside of it, and they could have a description, a title, and an image to represent the section. So I'm going to go into our tutorial recordings document section. This is where we host all of our prior recordings of best practices tutorials that we run weekly for the past 2 years. So you'll see 89 docs in here. It's a real treasure trove of resources, completely free if y'all want to check it out. We have our greatest hits page here. So once I'm brought in here, I have my navigation on the left side and my document on the right. So I'm on my greatest hits document where I'm seeing 1 through 10 of our top hitters. You can see that you can embed in documents. You can embed in documents, course lessons, and your posts in Heartbeat. And we support embeds from over 1,900 websites. And we will nicely format it in a responsive way for you if it's supported in these 1,900. So a popular one is Loom. We support Loom embeds. Another popular one, of course, is YouTube, and then Adilo, Uh, let's see. Google, the entire Google suite, you name it, it's probably in here. And if for some reason it's not, we do support HTML embeds. It's just like not a guarantee 100% that it's always going to be perfectly responsive. All right, so back to the hearth here. You'll see we're embedding from Vimeo here, where it shows up really nicely as a in-community video player. Also have hyperlinks. There's some extra formatting you have available to you here as well. If you type slash, you can see all the formatting options that you have. You can make lists, headings, tables, quotes, dividers. You could add images, like we said, embed from any website, and add little info notices. Well, seeing question in the chat. Let me check that out real quick. Great question, Amanda. Can you embed from Genially? Let me actually do a quick search. Yes, you can. I'll also paste the link here for our support and embeds page. If you have any questions around like, can you embed X, just throw it in the search bar here and it'll tell you. If it's not there, then you'll just probably have to use HTML to embed it. Alrighty, great. In terms of the doc section, the other things you can do is sub-documents. So in our case with the tutorial recordings, we organize all of our documents by topic. So we have our community basics, tutorial recordings, and then we have several documents underneath it. We also link to each one on the main document page. So I can click any of these links and be brought directly to that document. What's also nice is again, to add that community feel, you have comments on documents where people can share their love for the resource that you have. It just makes it like a persistently human experience when you're always seeing that people are interacting with the content that's in your community. All right, y'all. Any questions on documents before we move on to the next thing here? Okay, great. Next thing I wanted to show y'all is events. So maybe by a show of chat messages, who is planning on using events in the community? Oh, and while you're answering that question, I will answer a couple questions here on document tracking. So right now, we don't have like tons of analytics in terms of document tracking, like completion. If you're tracking completion for documents, I actually recommend you use our course feature, which we'll go over in a sec, because that's where you can truly document whether somebody completed something or not. In terms of the analytics that you do have access to for documents, you will be able to see your most engaged document content by visits. So if I go to, I believe it's under engagement. Let's see, maybe under activity. So we have like a pre-built out of the box analytics feature where you can filter based on your time, whether it's custom or some presets past 30 days, 90 days, 7 and 24 hours. It'll have general engagement features such as like your common login times, time to first post, time to first comment, time to first reaction, and other things that will help you optimize the community experience. Looks like it's taken a bit in this community because of the size. Let me just pull up my test community so I can show y'all what I'm talking about in terms of the analytics. So here we see our activity hotspots, where conversations are happening, whether they're public or in DMs, our top active users, and that kind of broken down into what they're contributing, top threads, top channels, and top documents. So this is something that you will be able to have access to, your top 10 documents based on view count. And you can export this, Aaron, or Amanda, sorry. You can export this data as well if you need it. And we'll be able to change the time as well. And then do the DMs include matchups? Aaron, great question. DMs and matchups are actually separate, so we don't handle matchups through DMs. So they are separate from each other. Okay, cool. Thanks for the questions, y'all. So we're gonna jump into events now, so I can make sure I give y'all a full overview of everything. So I see at least 4 or 5 of y'all are using events for your communities, which is awesome. That's actually how we grow as a community on Heartbeat. So I'll kind of break the fourth wall for a sec. If you go to our main website, you'll always see, oh, except for right now, it looks like it's an off week. Normally we have at the very top a banner that's promoting our next event. And the truth is, we use that as our lead generation tool for the top of our funnel because we get people to attend a public and free event, which is providing them a valuable insights on best practices for building community. And then at the end of that event, we provide an upsell to try out Heartbeat for their community. And that's something we actually recommend for all of you as well, for your communities. If you have an event component, you can use it as a top funnel to get some people into the door and to help see the value of your community firsthand and live. Because what better way to do that than live? So I'll just quickly go to our events page here. In the Hearth, we're always running events, whether it's run by Heartbeat or our facilitators. So we'll see, let's click into automation support with Misty Dorman. Misty's awesome. She is a great resource, especially with automations. And whoever asked the question about the chatbot earlier might want to attend this May 8th automation support session with Misty. With events, you can have your cover image, your title, you set your date and location and description. And you can also choose who you invite in your community. So if I go ahead and edit this event, we can see all of those details that I have access to edit. I can make events reoccurring or not. I can decide how often they're reoccurring. I can decide on a location. We do have a direct integration with Zoom because Heartbeat voice and video rooms have some limitations that don't fit for every community event use case. One example is right now we don't support video on the mobile voice and video rooms. So anybody joining via mobile can only give and receive voice in those channels. So for those use cases that need a bit more of a higher touch and extra moderation features, we recommend use our Zoom integration. But if you have another platform that you prefer, you could always just use custom and then paste the link to whatever it is, whether it be Google Meets, Butter. I don't know. There are a lot of ones out there. So whatever you need, you can paste right there. Leah, we don't integrate directly with MS Teams, but you can use this custom drop-down link and paste the Teams link there. And then, is this easy to embed on a website when you want to display public events? Great question. So I will actually jump to my test community to show y'all what a public event could look like. So if I go to my events page in my test community and create a new one, I'll call this like my kickoff event, and I'll set my date. I'll use Heartbeat as my location. And then I decide who I want to invite in my community. This piece right here is really powerful because this is where you can decide, maybe I don't want to invite my entire community to this event. Maybe I want to invite just certain segments of it. And with Heartbeat, segmenting is one of the most powerful tools that you can use because it takes this giant community and creates little bite-sized experiences for each member. The way we use segmenting in Heartbeat is through access groups. I want you to think of access groups as how you would segment your email newsletter, right? You might segment your email newsletter like by location, New York based, California based, Texas based. You might segment your newsletter by certain hobbies or interests. So writing, drawing, dancing. Or you might even segment it based on whether somebody's paying or not paying, right? My free members versus my paid members. All of this is possible in Heartbeat using our segmentation tools. And that's what you could then use to limit access to content, whether it's channels, lessons, documents, or right here with events. So let's say for my use case here, I only want to invite people that are interested in my drumming community, jazz, blues, and reggae, because maybe this is a jazz event. Then let's say I want to also make this public for anybody outside of my community, so I can use it as a lead gen as well. So I'm going to toggle on this public event piece. I can have some extra toggles here as well, whether I want to hide the event guest list, add my event organizer bio. Maybe I have a bunch of other public events that I want to recommend to them after they RSVP to get them even deeper in the funnel. I could also make it paid just for my external people. So where it's free for my jazz and blues and reggae peeps that are already in my community, but maybe I want to charge a ticket fee for anybody that's not in my community of $5 just to create a little bit of an entry fee at the door. Clicking next here, then I have some extra settings where I can choose the notification level of my event. The real difference here is heavy versus medium. So if I'm choosing heavy, I'm basically saying anybody who I just invited to my event, the jazz people, I'm automatically RSVPing them as yes. That's like the most aggressive way that you can create this event. That's commonly seen if you're running like a cohort-based course with a bunch of live sessions as part of the syllabus. You probably want somebody to automatically be RSVP'd as yes if they're taking a cohort-based course with live sessions. For most other use cases, I recommend a medium because then you're not bombarding people with RSVP'd yes events on their calendar. You're giving them the option. So you're sending them the email invitation and they have the option to choose yes, maybe, or no. You could also add event reminders at various points leading up to the event for those that RSVP'd. You could send those reminders as push notifications and emails. And like I said earlier, workflows. We try to embed this wherever it is possibly relevant. So in this case with events, we allow you to trigger workflows based on somebody RSVPing. So as soon as they click that RSVP button, we can have some actions take place or even a sequence of actions. In this case, maybe after one of my reggae people or jazz people RSVP to my event, I want to send them a DM that's saying like, glad you're coming. Here's some stuff to prep for the event. Or maybe I want to send them a notification email or a push notification. Or maybe I want to add them to a group that is specific for people attending this event. And maybe that group gives access to extra content across my community. The possibilities are really endless here. It really depends on whatever your use case is. You could also further segment this workflow to say, I want to send this workflow to people that are members of my community RSVPing and this workflow to people that are not members of my community. So maybe that non-member workflow is more of an upsell email campaign saying, hey, glad to see you're joining our event. You should also join our community. So when I go ahead and create this event, I will be brought to my event page. It's going to look pretty scarce because I didn't add much data here, but I could then copy the share link for this event and share it around to people, whether they're in my community or outside of it. Within my community, it's actually even easier because I could just make a post. Maybe I'll just go to my and say, hey, event happening next week, and then tag the event. And now people can just click RSVP right there. But then let's say if I want to do an email blast to a server of people that are not yet in my community, I'll just copy the share link for the event and share it that way. All right, y'all. Any questions that I can answer? I see 3 in the chat. Let me see here. Can posts be segmented? Leah, yes. That is through the power of the access groups that we talked about. You can have channels that are only accessible to some access groups. So you can say, let's say this premium channel is only available to people that are in my premium access group. And therefore nobody else can see it unless they're in that group. And then what's the payment tie-in and integrations? Colin, great question. We're going to get to that in a sec. I'll make sure I touch on that. And then Anne asks, I need to leave, but we'll watch the rest later. Okay. Well, for when you see this later, we love you, Anne. Thanks for coming. All right, on to the next piece here then. And that is courses. Courses is a really powerful way to create learning journeys for your members. If you have content that you're trying to help members learn, you might want to use courses for this. In Heartbeat, we took the decisive move to make courses as social and socially accountable as possible. And we've done as many things as we could do to integrate the course components to the rest of the community. So I'll show you what that looks like in practice. In my test community here, I have a bunch of courses. I'll just open up one of these here, intermediate drumming. On the admin side, this is what I'm seeing, but I'll click preview just so I can show you what the member experience could look like. if I've already started the course and I go to the course page in the community, this is essentially what I would see. This is a custom image field where you can have your own image. You have your name and description of the course, and then I have a call to action to pick up where I just left off. So I'm on lesson 2. Below that, I see a full syllabus of the course. We organize our courses by module, and then each module could have lessons and assignments and live events within it. You could also choose to drip release content or schedule release content to members in a progressive way so that you're not overwhelming them with all of the content at once. So if I go back to my admin view here, I can see that all of these events are set, these lessons are set to draft. But if I want, I can say for week 1, this first lesson is just going to be immediately published to them. But then the second one, I want to drip and say after 1 day of enrollment, this will be published to them. And maybe that second one I could do again after 2 days enrollment, they get the third lesson. So now every day I'm creating the habit of them coming back to the community, completing a lesson, engaging, and leaving. And throughout the course of however many weeks this course is, I've created this habit of them coming to the community to engage and complete a task. And it's a really powerful way to create long-standing and sustainable engagement in your community. If I have more of a cohort-based schedule for my course, I can publish a specific date for something to be released. Okay, any questions on that? I'm not seeing any in the chat, so I will jump into content on the lessons themselves. When you're adding content, let's say I want to create an assignment. I'm going to first name it, and I'll edit it. And I can see that we have a hero section and a body for everything, whether it's an assignment or a lesson. You always have that very top area that you can choose to have this like larger video or image, or you can just have like go straight into the description and the body of the lesson or assignment. With videos, again, you can embed from anywhere. So there's a lot of people that will embed from Vimeo, YouTube, or wherever they're hosting their videos. Alternatively, we do support native video uploads in Heartbeat. So if you choose to host all of your videos inside of Heartbeat, it's just an add-on expense. We didn't want to raise prices for everybody when we introduced this feature, but video hosting could get expensive. So for up to 50 hours of storage, no matter the size or resolution of the videos, you will be paying $19 a month if you want to use that service. Alternatively, you can always use your external platform and just embed. With assignments, one of the social pieces of it that I really love is public assignments. With these, you're essentially allowing somebody to submit a response to an assignment as a public post in a channel. And what that's doing is you can have this channel that is only for people taking this course. And anybody who is doing this public assignment is making a public submission for everybody else in the course to see. They can engage with it. They can share their feedback with each other. It's like creating a forum experience for that we all remember from college when you were asked to like make 3 comments on a forum post for as an assignment. It's a more fun way of doing that. In my test community, an example of that would be if somebody's being taught a drum beat, I can ask them to take a recording of them doing the drum beat and make it into a public submission for other people to watch. It reinforces learning. It creates a positive feedback loop for them. Okay, great. So there's also the private submission process, which you can do. And within that private submission process, you can also require instructor approval of those submissions. So you can say, I want to actually approve whether they can move on or have to try again in the course after they make a private submission. And our entire admin side of that is really nicely built out where you can provide them feedback. They'll be notified, see the feedback, review it, resubmit, and that loop can happen as long as you need it to happen until you approve them to move forward. All right. I see one question in the chat. Let me just check on that. Yes, Eve, the recording will be shared. So no worries if you missed the beginning. Later today, you'll get an email with the link. Okay. One other thing I wanted to make sure I shared with y'all in terms of courses is the community embed cards that we've added into the courses to make it a social experience. So you'll notice here on the right side here, actually, let me pull up a better example. Now forgive the change. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. So if I pull up this example here, as much as possible, like I said, we tried to make the courses social. And a piece of that is on the right side, you'll be able to add pieces of the community into your course overview page, whether that's listing out your instructors for the course and allowing an easy way to DM them, or linking directly to the main discussion channel or posts for a course, or linking to a reoccurring weekly office hour event where somebody can immediately see the upcoming one, click on it, RSVP, and get the help that they need. You can choose to embed these cards on the overview page as well as on a lesson by lesson basis, where you're seeing specific community embed cards for each lesson and assignment. So it really depends on how granular you want to get here in terms of integrating pieces of the community throughout the learning journey. Let's see. All right, Eve asked a question about migrating content from another platform. Um, Eve, actually, we might be able to help with this, but it depends on what exactly you're looking to migrate. You don't mind writing into support@heartbeat.chat. We'll make sure we connect you with either the right resources or people that can help you out with the migration process. If you could also just include where you're migrating from, that would be super helpful. All right, y'all. How we doing? Can I get a little vibe check? Awesome. Sweet. I know this is a lot I'm throwing at you at once, so I want to make sure we're capturing as much as we could here, um, because what we're about to go over is the long-awaited pricing and groups side of things. So it's more of like the admin side rather than this member-facing side of things. And yes, Eve, you got it right. Support@heartbeat.chat. Perfect. Okay, great. So as you're setting up content throughout the platform, you're going to have opportunities to monetize that content. So an example is when you're creating a course, you can either make that course completely free and give everybody access, or you can choose to lock it behind a paywall. What we see most commonly is two things. You either set up a one-time purchase for your course, whether it's installment based or just one and done. And once you purchase it, it's yours. So that's what we did here. We made this course $2, one-time purchase. What you can also do, either one or the other, or you can do both, is you can bundle this course into a membership, which basically means as long as you are paying our subscription for the general membership of our community, you can access this course for free. But as soon as you cancel your subscription to that general membership, we will remove your access from the course. Those are the two most common ways we see people monetize courses in Heartbeat. If you don't see your use case covered here, please let me know in the chat and we can discuss it as well. So that is like the baseline version of how you can monetize in Heartbeat. But at a much higher level, you can monetize in a ton of other ways. So I'm going to go to our settings here. And before we jump into the actual pricing side of things, I want to again cover our access groups that we were talking about earlier. As I mentioned, there are like four major ways we see people using access groups in Heartbeat. You can use it for hosting interest groups, right? Segmenting your audience to make sure that they're seeing the relevant content for them. Let's say if I have a writing interest group and somebody joins it, now they can see the access for the document section that gives them all of these resources for getting unblocked as a writer. And they have a channel for those that are having writer's block where they can chat back and forth with each other. Maybe we also have a weekly accountability event where people just hop on and write together in silence, right? And maybe that's all invisible until you join that writing group. Totally possible. You can reward members with badges with access groups. So one really cool piece of the access group function is we allow you to choose an automated option where you tell Heartbeat the filters and presets that you want to add or remove members from this group on a reoccurring basis. So an example of that, I'll pull up in my test community here. There we go. If I go to my access groups and create a new one, there are three options, right? for group membership. Either I want to control who accesses it. I could add or remove members. I want to make it maybe joinable for everybody, right? Like that writing group where somebody could just join or leave freely. Or I make it automated where I define filters. Let's say if you are within 10 miles of Atlanta, I want you to be in this group. Or if you have made more than 10 comments, I want to add you to this group and we're going to call you a comment king, right? Or you can do fun things like more complicated filtering, such as a power user filter set, where you have to make more than 25 posts, 25 comments, and receive 25 reactions in the past year, and that will make you a power user. Or rather, maybe I want to use this more as an admin-facing tool to segment my users. Maybe I want to identify anybody that's inactive in my community. So anybody who hasn't logged in more than 30 days. And I'll hide that from anybody's visibility so that they don't know they're in some inactive group. Now I could run workflows where as soon as somebody enters this inactive group, I send them an email that says, "We miss you. Come back. Was it us or was it you?" So really powerful ways to automatically re-engage members, right? So back to this here, we can use groups in an automated way and reward members with badges or use it in an admin-facing way. We can segment by experience level. In my drumming community, I can segment based on my beginner drummers, intermediate drummers, and advanced ones, and I put them all in different places. Maybe I completely isolate them from each other so that they don't even interact with each other in the community at all. I can do that and create IRL experiences. Events based in New York are only for New York groups, right? So with that understanding, all we do with Heartbeat payments is add a payment layer on top of the group. So normally you can just join the group or leave the group. But now we're saying, okay, you want to join the group, you have to pay. And then once you stop paying, we remove you. That's all it's doing. It creates this layer of requiring payment. So if we go back to my test community here, I will hit cancel and go to my offers. Whenever you want to monetize something at a large scale in Heartbeat, you go to your offers and you create a new offer. We know that there are three major types of ways you can monetize in community building. It's you're running a completely paid only community, a freemium community where there are free parts and then paid locked portions of the community within it, or you're just selling individually paid products within your community. These are all completely valid business models. And if you're not seeing yours listed, yours is valid too. We just don't have a complete template for it yet. So with these three different pricing structures, we see one of them shines to be the most successful. If anybody could guess before I spoil it, let me know. Let's see in the chat here. Can you create digital products that are free to the community but paid for public? Aaron, yes. High level, yes, but I would sort of have extra questions around what does it take for somebody to be in your community? Are they paying to be in your community, or are they free? And feel free to come off mute for more context.
I'm thinking like if you, let's say you had freemium, and so they're in the community, they're getting to see certain things and interact, but they're not at the, like a higher tier. So you might have something that they would pay for.
Yes, totally. I appreciate it's almost like I planted your question. I appreciate you asking that. So that is like that freemium model is totally possible. And the way that we represent it within the community is if you have a piece of content locked behind a tier, let's say a paid tier or even a gold tier versus a bronze tier, right? If it's locked in any way to the member, you can choose to display it with a lock icon. And when they click on it, they see your custom upsell messaging that you've created. It could have a video, it could have a custom title, it could have social proofing, right, with the number of members that have done it. And you can even add a testimonial and you can customize the call to action button. So I'm seeing that this content, this channel here exists, but I'm not actually seeing the channel itself. I'm seeing the upsell message. When I click join, I'm brought to an in-community checkout experience. Still see the upsell. I make my choices. I input my payment info and I click subscribe. I'm immediately brought back to this channel and now have access. So that same principle goes for courses, document sections, events, and channels. It's the same process of if it's locked and you have upsells enabled, they can see it exists with the lock. Once they click on it, they see your upsell messaging that you created, they purchase it, they gain access. All streamlined in Heartbeat. Great question. Okay, so that's the freemium model. Very common. That's why upsells are awesome. What we do see is the easiest way, the fastest path to 100K in annual revenue in 12 months is just a paid only, one price, simple membership. If you're paying, you access the community. If you're not, you don't access it. And the reason is simple. It's really hard to focus on multiple customer segments at once, whether you have a free segment and then a bronze segment, a silver segment, gold segment. And it's really easy, not really easy, far easier, sorry, to get good at converting one group of customers and then expand from there, right? Figure out how to convert that one segment, and then maybe you add your next tier, or then maybe you add a free tier as a top funnel for that paid tier. This is not like a rule of law. It's just something that we've seen from a ton of communities that were successful on our platform. And then in terms of pricing, again, not a rule of law, but a lot of the time we get questions around how to price things. We see that business communities on Heartbeat with a very simple one tier paid only membership tend to be charging between 50 and 150 a month, whereas hobbyist communities tend to be charging between 25 and 50 a month. Again, we've seen like huge ranges on the spectrum for both of these. I've actually seen a business community charging 4,000 a month on Heartbeat. So huge ranges. But you can use these as a leaping off point if you're really just like unsure where to start. Another thing I'll note is just from working with SMBs like yourselves for as long as I have, the price you have in your head is probably too low because we tend to undervalue what we have, especially when it comes to community, because it's very hard to value and put a price on community. And it's something that's continually going to evolve as you grow your business. Um, so that was just like my unsolicited advice there. All right, so we're going to walk through just really quickly setting up an offer so I can show you a few of the fun toggles and customizations that you have. And I'm going to walk through that simple one tier membership. So I clicked paid membership and I will give my membership a name and I'll add my single tier. So I'm just going to call this like members. I could add my description. This description will appear on public pages that display the tier. I can set my pricing. So I have for subscription models, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly options that I can offer. If it's a one-time price, I can do either just one time today or installment-based pricing, where you can say $25 three times monthly, total of 75. But since this is a subscription, I'm going to have just a monthly option of 25 a month. And I'll even add an annual alternative for them. Really common to just multiply your monthly by 10. And that gives like a nice discount to an incentive to go to annual. So 25 a month or 250 a year. Optionally, if you have a business model where you require a registration fee up front and then a smaller monthly payment, you can do that as well. Toggle that on, add your registration fee, and then after that fee is paid, they'll continue just paying the normal subscription price. You can right here, if you needed to, control access to the content within your community. So I can start saying, I want people in this membership to have access to all of these channels, or I could just add them all. If it's a simple one tier membership that they gain access to everything, then I'll click save. So now I have my tier made here, my two payment options. And if looking on the right side here, if you have another currency you need to accept instead of USD, you can select that here. For those of you that are creator type models, we see this a lot from a lot of communities that are coming from Patreon. You can allow members to name their price. And that's basically now setting minimums and suggested prices rather than fixed pricing. So if I go back to this here, I can now set minimum and a suggested price. I could say minimum 0, I suggest 25, right? That's really good, popular in like nonprofit type communities where I just want people to join. I would love for them to pay, but I want to be accessible to all. turn that off for the time being. If you're doing a free trial, you can have that as well, where you require payment upfront or not. And of course, if you are running a freemium type membership, that's where you would toggle on this free tier and have that part of your offer. This next page is the fun one because it has all the fun toggles, right? So we have our social proofing that we can toggle on or off to if we want to show people when they're about to click purchase how many others have already made that decision. It's really a great way to encourage membership. We can create some FOMO around our offer if we want to limit the quantity that's available or set an expiration date. And this will be shown on your public sign up pages that there's X amount of spots remaining or this much time left until the offer expires. And then, like we saw earlier, those in community upsells, this is where you would edit the copy for those. In my case, I'm just setting up a very simple offer, so I'm not going to have that on. Last thing here is your on cancellation options. Since my community is all or nothing, you're either paying an access or you're not paying and you are blocked. I will block community access on cancellation. But for some of y'all, you might want to continue giving them access to pieces of the community if they stop paying, in which case you just remove their offer access. I can set default pricing options, which will show up as the popular choice on sign-up pages and checkout. And then last thing here, the all-powerful cancellation flows. If somebody ultimately decides to go to their billing and click cancel subscription for your membership, you can present them with alternatives because oftentimes they don't just want to cancel immediately. They might have some other reasons for needing to cancel, whether it be temporary financial hardship or just not being a correct fit in the tier that they're in. So you can add some some steps that that will interrupt the cancellation flow, such as suggesting a discount, or you can say enjoy 50% off the next 3 months if you stay. And if they accept it, the coupon's automatically applied and they keep their membership. You can decide to suggest a completely new offer. Maybe a new offer is a better fit. You can choose to show a custom pop-up where you're saying, hey, let's actually chat first, and you link to your Calendly. Right? All of this completely possible. And if they ultimately do decide to cancel, you still want to collect some feedback from them. So you could customize a cancellation survey that they could fill out, and then you could review, export, and analyze to determine who are the people that are churning from my membership. What changes do I need to make? Is it a pricing thing? Is it the content I'm delivering? Or maybe it's the user segments that I'm targeting. Maybe certain segments are not as much a fit as I thought. Okay, y'all. I'm going to take a quick look at the chat. Okay, Colin asks, thank you for this unsolicited advice. We should times that number in our heads by how much to set initial price. Oh, so in terms of the pricing, when I was talking about like a monthly to an annual option, with your monthly option, once you figure that out, let's say it's $50 a month. If you multiply that 50 by 10, that's a really solid annual option to offer. So 50 a month or 500 a year. And the reason being is it just offers like a somewhere in the teens percent discount. I think it's like a 15% discount or so on going annual. What's really nice about people going annual is they churn less frequently, right? So it's a lot nicer to have that annual payment upfront rather than somebody being reminded every month that they're paying a subscription. They're more likely to churn. And Eve asks, is there a 1K limit to membership? There's only a 1K limit to membership on the starter tier. So once you reach that 1K limit, it's a natural progression to just upgrade to the growth tier for your Heartbeat community, and you'll have an unlimited number of members. On both tiers as well, we don't have any limitations on the amount of types of content that you can create. So on starter and every other tier in Heartbeat, you have unlimited courses, unlimited channels, groups, whatever it may be, unlimited everything except for the members. Okay, any other questions I can answer for y'all in the chat? I want to make sure I cover everything I could for you. Can we offer free access, say for 3 months for people that for a paid community? Yes, you can do that. My recommendation is for that doing a free trial approach, where so you're when you're creating your offer, you can enable a free trial and just make it 90 days. And then you could even have require payment up front so that you're still collecting that on day one, and on day 90, they're just automatically charged. Rachel asks, affiliate setup for people who recruit more folks to the community. Yes, great question. I could go over that. And one-off discounts to people. Yes. Leah asks, is there a way to our community can have its own mobile app? Okay, great questions. Also, if you have to jump right now, totally understand. I'm going to stay on for like 5 more minutes to make sure I answer these questions. I'll also have this all recorded, so no worries if you miss anything. But yes, to answer your questions, you can create one-off discounts for promotion codes. We actually handle all of our payment processing with Stripe. So that's how you would create those promotion codes, is you would go in your Stripe dashboard, you would create the promotion code and share it with the member. And on the checkout page, they will be able to enter that promotion code and receive it. And then affiliate setup. Yes, one thing I didn't cover is with all of this payments layer, we have a built-in affiliate program. So if I go to my manage affiliates page, I can create affiliate campaigns and that are either available to everybody, or I could even segment and say certain affiliate programs require you to have certain subscriptions or group access, right? But let's just say I want to create a general one. I can do that. I can decide what invitation link I want to use for my affiliate program as the base link. I can select what offer I want to use as well. You could also just say, doesn't matter, any offer that somebody signs up to, I want to reward this affiliate for. You can add a coupon incentive for the end member that's joining so that they are incentivized, and then your commission structure for the affiliate as well. And all of that is managed right here, where you can see all your affiliates, who has leads, who has conversions, who you owe commissions to. We handle payouts through PayPal at the moment. So we ask all your affiliates for their PayPal email, and it's not done automatically because we don't want to automatically pull funds from your account. So the payout of commissions is done manually right now, just to help you control your finances better. Okay, great question. So yes, you can do that. And then as your members sign up as affiliates, they get their own link that they can share out with people and get credit for the conversions. Leah asks about the community mobile app. So by default, you have free access to the Heartbeat mobile app on both iOS and Google Android store. So those are both free to use. If you want to take that extra step to have a completely branded mobile app for your own community, that is also possible. I'll warn that it is a bit of an upsell, an increased price because of the development work and maintenance required by our team to build that. But right now it goes for $849 a month. You will have both a growth tier and a custom branded app bundled it together, and you'll have your own apps on the store. So somebody would not be searching Heartbeat to download your app. They would be searching your brand name and downloading that app. But it's completely backed by the Heartbeat backend. You don't have to worry about maintenance or code or any of that. We handle all the maintenance for you. And yeah, happy to show you an example of that as well, Amanda. Uh, Let me just get to a couple of these other questions really quickly. Colin asks, please speak on common or most useful integrations not already discussed. Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually have an integration page. So Google Calendar and Outlook are very popular if you're using events, because you can create a community calendar that is linked to Google or Outlook. Zoom, like I said earlier, Notion is a popular integration where you can sync your Notion documents into your knowledge base in Heartbeat. Um, where if somebody goes to your resources section in Heartbeat, they're seeing all of your synced Notion docs there. And then I would just say, like in general, Zapier is a common use of integrating Heartbeat with other platforms. I see a lot of people integrate platform like CRM platforms if they're choosing to Heartbeat, especially if they're doing like more complex CRM management, like funnels or email campaign and marketing. That's what we see a lot of people using Zapier for. And then Christy asked, user-wise course completion tracking. Oh, great question. So if I go to one of my courses here, I'll go to this one, for example, how to use the Hearth. As an admin, you have access to this here. So you can use view at the high level, the course analytics. started, percentage, completion rate, and average progress. You could also drill down to individual users when their last lesson was completed and their total progression. And then if you have assignments, you will be able to uh, view and review all of the assignments here. So if I'll click into one of these, I can review the assignment instructions, submission, and any attachments. This is also if I had those require approval settings turned on, I would see any that need approval are awaiting resubmission or completed. Great question. And then Amanda, I'll get back to your question now. So an example of the Heartbeat brand app. So at a high level, once you're in the app, it looks very much identical to the Heartbeat app that you know. So if you download Heartbeat's app, open it up, go into your community, it will look identical once you're inside. The real value is what it looks like on somebody's home screen on the app store, like on the app store, or once they download it on their home screen. That's where it's going to show your brand as that custom app icon. And when they open it up, they're going to see your brand from end to end. Just going to pull up my phone here for us. Oops. Okay, can you change the brand theme within the app? Yes, you totally can, Amanda. Sorry, I'm having some trouble connecting my phone. But high level, basically, the app icon is going to be the main difference with the name. If I go to your settings here, you can always customize your community theme right here. So you have your own logo, your own splash image, which is the top left corner. You can choose your primary and background color. So anywhere you're seeing pink, that's my choice. And the background color in your community, and then your background gradient, which is used in various places on upsell testimonials, sign up pages, as well as it could be used on your community sidebar. So for example, if I go to my Drummer's Den community here, right now my sidebar is all white, but if I go to my settings and community theme and toggle on to use the gradient here, I'll save my changes and go back, and now I see I'm using that gradient color on my sidebar. And this all immediately tracks the changes that you make here, immediately track on the mobile app as well. So there's no delay in customization. And yes, you can go live within a community. Actually, okay, sorry. I think I misunderstood. So you can't like go live in a community as we all understand it, like you would on like Instagram or TikTok. That's actually something we're really interested in doing soon, but it's not something yet that's available. What you can do instead is just create an event in Heartbeat for the time that you're going live and link to where you're hosting the live event. And what's going to happen is in the top right of your community, it's going to say live event happening now. It'll have the name of the event, the title, who's there, and a one-click button for them to join. So it won't be streaming within the community, but it'll give them direct access to get to it from within the community. Okay, Leah asks, similar to Amanda's question, can we change font, section names, and I assume each item? So yes, so there's some things that you can and can't change. In terms of the font, you can't change the font type or the sizes, but what you can change is the names of all of these things here. So if I go to my settings and click community sidebar, I can change the names of all of those sidebar items. I could even add my own custom ones if I'd like my help center link that I've linked to. And then section names, yes, so all my channel section names here I can change as well, and the channels themselves. So tons of customization that's possible in here. But right now, font size is just for purely like maintenance of accessibility is the reason why we're not really supporting that right now. And Amanda, I might have a resource for you in our help center, and that's actually a good way to kind of transition us here is how we support you. So in terms of our support, we have a few human and non-human, like article ways of supporting you. So we have both our support chat and our community. If you want to reach a support representative of Heartbeat, you can click that help button in the bottom right of the community or reach out to our email support@heartbeat.chat. Also, join the Hearth, learn from other customers, tons of knowledge to be shared there. Our help center can be found at help.heartbeat.chat, where you'll be taken here and you just type a search here. So I think we might have something for customizing your community, what you can customize in your community. There we go. So this, Amanda, would be a good resource for you. And feel free to ask our search bot here any questions you have. It will search our database. And if it can't find an answer, you could always talk to a human on our team. In terms of, I saw a question just now pop up about matchups. And Colin, yes, we will be emailing the recording of this later today. So no worries there. Matchups can be configured on the left sidebar as well. So you see a matchups thing here. And that's where you can set up who you want to match up. Again, using those access groups that we talked about, you can create pools where you're saying, I want people in this access group to be matched together, and then people in this access group to be matched together. So you can create this segmented matchups experience. You can opt members in, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And we handle the actual matchmaking via email because we know that has a much higher rate of engagement and completion than other means. So we send and CC you on all the matchup emails where we're connecting people, and those emails can be customized completely by you. Okay, everybody, I think we've just about hit the bottom of the questions. If I can help in any other way, please don't hesitate to reach out to our support team. We are always eager to help you get launched on Heartbeat, especially if you're feeling a little intimidated by the all-in-one nature and all the possibilities. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Um, there are tons of people that can help you, whether it's on our team or in the Hearth. And then Colin asks to send us off, is live support available for starter plan, and what's the time frame or limits? Yeah, so in terms of um, live support is more for I guess like more complex and like difficult to tech issues that really require live getting on a live call. So if that is truly necessary, we are able to do that, but in like small limited quantities. What I would recommend is reaching out to our support team via the chatbot or email. If they're able to support you asynchronously via that thread, it's awesome. If they're not, then they'll be able to send you a link to book time to chat with us live. We also host weekly tutorials in the Hearth and are always available in the Hearth as well to chat. All right, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming, and good luck with your communities as you build on Heartbeat. Please let us know if you need anything.